part 5 of Justin Baldoni's October 7th Deposition. Gottlieb. What character did Isabela Ferrer play in the movie? She played young Lily. Was young Lily Bloom under the age of 18? The character was under the age of 18. That's what I meant. The character, young Lily Bloom, was under the age of 18 or supposed to be depicting someone under the age of 18. Correct. Was there a sex scene involving young Lily Bloom? Yes. Did you attend Miss Ferrer's deposition? Parts of it. Did you attend the part where she testified under oath that after she and Alex N. filmed a sex scene, you went up to them and said, I know I'm not to say this. I know I'm not supposed to say this, but that was hot? I heard that part, yes. Was that true? I have no memory of saying that to them. Do you believe Miss Ferrer is a truthful person? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I have no way of knowing. Gottlieb, if you said that, could you understand how Miss Ferrer could be taken aback or upset by that comment? Shapiro, objection. Justin, as a director, I'd probably say go up to actors in between scenes 100 times a day. And whatever I said in that moment was attempting to make them feel good about what they just did and comfortable. I don't think the context of the way I said it was offensive at all. Gottlieb, okay, did you ever do any writing on the script during the period of the writer's strike? That is when the majority of the changes were made, yes. Including changes that you made, yes. Did you ever ask while you were making changes to the script during the strike to have your name removed from the draft of the script? Shapiro, objection. Justin, on the contrary, I remember thinking that I should put both my name and Miss Lively's name on it, and then I was told that we should probably have it removed and in place put Ange Gianetti's name. Gottlieb, and you did that, right? Shapiro, objection. Justin, yes. Gottlieb, and the reason for doing that, and you have a very good memory, the reason for doing that was to show solidarity with the strike. Is that right? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I don't believe that to be the reason. Gottlieb, would you be surprised if there was an email where you said that the reason for taking your name off the script was in order to show solidarity with the strike? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I don't know if I'd be surprised at anything at this point. Gottlieb, that's not one of the documents you reviewed in preparation for. Shapiro, objection. Gottlieb, your testimony today. Shapiro, objection. Justin, I'm not allowed to comment on the documents that I reviewed. Gottlieb, you are allowed to comment if it was a document that you reviewed in preparation for your testimony today. Shapiro, no. I'm instructing you not to reveal what, if any, which, if any, documents you were shown by your attorneys, which is protected by the privileged work product. Justin, I'd be happy to see the document. Gottlieb, you're going to follow your attorney's instruction on that? I like to do that, yes. Did you ever cross picket lines? I think every time I was on set during the writer's strike, I was crossing the picket line. Did you ever ask anyone else to cross picket lines during the writer's strike? We only asked people to cross if they were comfortable crossing. Is that a yes? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I didn't personally ask anyone to cross a picket line. No. Mr. Gottlieb, but Wayfarer Studios did. Shapiro, objection. Gottlieb, if they were comfortable. Shapiro, objection. Justin, I would say the production, it was very clear to everybody that if they didn't want to cross, they didn't have to cross. That was my charge. That was my understanding of it, but I wasn't in charge of that. Gottlieb, did you ever tell Miss Abel or Miss Nathan, who were talking out to the press about Ryan Reynolds crossing picket lines and violating guild rules, that you yourself had crossed picket lines and violated the terms of the writer's strike? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I don't remember ever saying Ryan Reynolds crossed the picket line. Gottlieb, did you ever mention to Miss Abel or Miss Nathan at all that you had written on the script during the writer's strike? I think Miss Abel was aware that I wrote. Why do you think that? Because Miss Abel was aware that both myself and Blake wrote. I had told her. Did you tell her that you had also, Wayfarer Studios had also asked people who were comfortable to cross picket lines to come to work? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I don't remember a specific conversation with Miss Abel about that. Gottlieb, we talked a little bit earlier about a comment using the word sexy involving both Miss Late and Miss Lively, right? Yes. The comment to Miss Lively, am I right, that occurred during the filming of the bar scene? The onesie bar scene, yes. The onesie bar scene, and is it correct that you made a comment that Miss Lively, her dress, I'll let you characterize it, looks sexy or hot? No. What did you say? It wasn't a dress, so I was just answering your question. I didn't mean to say her dress, but it appears from the transcript I did. How would you characterize your comment using the word sexy? In a conversation where I was speaking to Miss Lively about her wardrobe as the director, I wanted to see the onesie because all the characters were wearing onesies. She had a large jacket on, and we were having a bit of a negotiation, as I was trying to gently ask her to remove it. And like many conversation with Miss Lively, there's a back and forth that can go on for quite some time. And it got to the point where I believe I said to her that it looked hot, to which she replied earlier she had said she thought it was cute and that's why she wanted to wear it. And then I had said it down the line, I had said it looked hot. And she said, that's not what I was going for. And then I made a joke. I said, sexy? She goes, not that either. And then immediately I paused and I said, I'm sorry, did I just cross a boundary? And Mrs. Slate shared what we talked about earlier, to which case I thanked them both. I apologized to Miss Lively again. And I was in the middle of, getting everything ready. I think at one point I let Miss Lively know that she had something in her teeth before filming because we were getting ready to go shoot. And then I came back later, 5 minutes later, before we started filming, and I thanked Mrs. Slate for what she said. I said something along the lines of, that can't be easy. I wish you didn't need to say what you said. And I really appreciate you sharing that with me. And I apologize again to Miss Lively for using the word sexy as it related specifically to her character's wardrobe. Were the cameras recording when the exchange happened? The cameras for the movie? Any cameras. I believe there was some behind the scenes camera filming, yes. Have you ever watched a video from that exchange? I have. Have you produced a video from that exchange, in this case to Miss Lively? I believe every single piece of video as it relates to the movie was produced from my attorneys. When did you last watch that scene, that recording? January, maybe? You didn't mention anything about missing the HR meeting. Did you say anything about missing the HR meeting? Yes, I did. In response to Jenny Slate's kind of, as I mentioned earlier, jokes, as she was saying, we don't say that anymore. I immediately responded and said, I guess I missed the sexual harassment meeting. Did you miss the sexual harassment meeting? That's why I made the joke, because I did not miss the sexual harassment meeting. Gottlieb, all right, let's look at a document, Exhibit 30, marked for identification. Gottlieb, this is a document that's been marked on Exhibit 30, another text exchange between Miss Sachs and Miss Giannetti on June 1st, 2023, and it bears that Bates number SPE_BL 2026 through 2035. And I'm really only going to be asking you, Mr. Baldoni, about the exchange on page 2028. Actually, sorry, there's a little bit of carryover on 2027. I would still like to read the whole document if possible. I'm just trying to help direct your attention, so go ahead and read. Ahuran. Mr. Gottlieb, did you mark this as 30 or 31? 30. Ahuran. Mr. Gottlieb, did you mark this as 30 or 31? Gottlieb, 30. Ahuran, thank you. Gottlieb, have you had a chance to read this entire document, Mr. Baldoni? I just did, yes. And this is a text exchange between Miss Sachs and Miss Giannetti on June 1st, 2023. It appears to be. You saw one of the things they were discussing was Miss Sachs' belief that they needed new ADs on the film immediately. Yes. And she wasn't saying in what you just read that Miss Lively was telling her there needed to be new ADs, right? No. That was Miss Sachs' view. That was Miss Sachs' view? That is, I did not read her saying anything about Miss Lively wanting new ADs. On the first 2 pages of this document, do you see Miss Sachs recounts a conversation that she participated in between Miss Lively and Mr. Heath? Yes, and she describes that as a tough chat. That's what she says. And says, as read, called Jamie out in front of me and Justin kindly, but was very direct. I see that. Did you witness that conversation? I believe I did. Do you see on page 2028 at 9:42 p.m. or 9:42 a.m., Miss Sachs begins to describe what she says as read. You, Jamie, make jokes about how you can't make eye contact with people anymore, as if to undermine and lessen the importance of people not wanting to be comfy cozy on the set. Do you see that? Yes. Did you ever make jokes about being unable to make eye contact with people on the set anymore? I did not. Did Mr. Heath? Shapira, objection. Justin, I don't know what Mr. Heath did. Gottlieb, okay, and then she describes a meeting that took place on day 2 in which Mr. Heath went into Miss Lively's trailer. Do you see that? I see that. Is what Miss Sachs describes here an accurate reflection of what Miss Lively said during that meeting that you witnessed? Shapira, objection. Justin, I'm sorry, say that one more time. Gottlieb, the description of what Miss Lively said and how she described the meeting in the trailer that you see here on this page, 2028, is that an accurate reflection of what you recall Miss Lively saying? Shapira, objection. Justin, I think that's why I'm a bit confused, because you said Miss Lively. Gottlieb, Miss Sachs is describing something Miss Lively said, right? Justin, I'm sorry, before you said Miss Lively. I know. Let's start at step 1. We can agree that Miss Sachs is describing something Miss Lively has said. Yes, yes, yes. And that was something Miss Lively said in a conversation that you witnessed, correct? Shapira, objection. Justin, okay, is what, if I can repeat the question and tell me if I'm right. If what Alex Sachs is texting Ange Giannetti here, if this is what I remember Miss Lively saying in the meeting that I witnessed. Gottlieb, right now I'm not asking you what happened in the trailer. I'm asking you about your recollection. This is accurate. Of the meeting that you witnessed and whether this description is an accurate reflection as you sit here today of the meeting that you witnessed. Shapiro, objection. Justin, I don't think it's fully accurate. Gottlieb, okay, let's go step by step. Do you recall Miss Lively saying that on day 2, Mr. Heath went into her trailer? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I don't recall her saying that on day 2, Mr. Heath went into her trailer. Gottlieb, do you recall Miss Lively telling a story about Mr. Heath entering her trailer? Yes. Do you recall her saying, oh, actually, I'm getting body makeup done or something to that effect? I recall the way she told the story was that when he entered, she said, come in, but I'm getting body makeup done, so please turn away. And that's more or less what Miss Sachs is saying in 943. She says you can come in if you don't look. Shapiro, objection. Justin, again, I don't remember her saying you can come in if you don't look. That doesn't feel accurate to me. Gottlieb, okay. Nor does this next piece. That's all I'm saying. Is my recollection was this is like 4 lines in a text message, so I can't say this is exactly what Miss Lively said. So do you recall Miss Lively saying that Mr. Heath was looking in her direction the entire conversation when she turned around? No, I remember Miss Lively saying that when she turned around, she had noticed that Mr. Heath was looking in her direction. And do you recall Miss Lively saying that made her feel uncomfortable? No. Do you recall Miss Lively saying this in a way that seemed happy about it? Shapiro, objection. Justin, no. Gottlieb, she seemed unhappy about it. I don't think it was she wasn't upset. She didn't seem upset. Is it your testimony that you believe Miss Lively to be saying she didn't care one way or the other that Mr. Heath was looking at her in the trailer that day? Shapiro, objection. Justin, that's not what I said. Gottlieb, I'm trying to understand what you recollect, and if you recollect that Miss Lively relayed the story because she was troubled, bothered, concerned, whatever word you would like to use about it, or if you're saying something different. Shapiro, objection. Justin, well, you had asked me if I thought Miss Lively was upset, and that's why she was sharing the story. I can't, one, speculate to what Miss Lively was feeling. All I was saying was that she did not seem upset as she was sharing the story. It felt like this was something that she wanted to share to ensure it didn't happen again, but I can't speculate as to what she was feeling or not feeling. Gottlieb, she didn't want it to happen again. You understood that? Yes. Okay. Did anyone talk to HR about the incident in the trailer? To my knowledge, no. Do you know one way or another whether Miss Lively started locking her trailer door after that event? I do not. Did Sony ever issue any kind of warning to you or to Mr. Heath so far as you know? A warning? A warning. No, not that I'm aware of. A caution? You're welcome to refresh my memory, but not that I can think of. That's fine. I'm just interested if you recall any time that they cautioned, warned, or otherwise issued anything that sounded like that to you. I don't recall a warning or a caution. Gottlieb, let's do Exhibit 31. Exhibit 31 marked for identification. Mr. Baldoni, you've been handed what's been marked as Exhibit 31, which is a document bearing the Bates numbers Baldoni 16447 through 16452. And this is a text message, I believe, between yourself, Mr. Heath, Miss Abel, and Stephanie Jones on November 10th, 2023. Let me know once you've had a chance to look at it. Okay. Had a chance to review Exhibit 31, Mr. Baldoni? I have. Do you recognize this document? I do. You've seen this before? I have. You've seen both the text and the attachment before? Yes. This text chain, Henny Grace, is your alias, is that right? Was, yes. Was your alias. And you are communicating through that with Mr. Heath, Miss Abel, and Stephanie Jones, is that right? Yes, that's just the name on the way that my phone is set up. Okay, that's not like I show up as Henny Grace to be anybody else. And the date is November 10, 2023. It appears so. You're asking Miss Abel and Miss Jones for a Zoom, correct? Yes. Why were you asking your publicist for a Zoom about the attached document? I wanted to share it with them. At 10:11 p.m., Mr. Heath sends through what appears to be a screenshot of a message from someone named Lindsay to Eileen and Joseph. Did I pronounce that first name right? Close enough. You tell me. Eileen and Joseph. And have you seen that text before? I believe this is a text that was an email, so yes. So it's a text forwarding through a language from the email. Is that right? Correct. And this was the cover email that was sent to the protections for return to production that are on the following pages. I believe so, yes. And Lindsay Strasberg is an attorney who represented Miss Lively. Is that right? I believe so, yes. And is this around the time that you first learned of the enclosed list of protection? I would imagine so. Do you see how at the top of the message, Ms. Strasberg writes, as read, it is no surprise to the film's producer that the experience of shooting the film has been deeply concerning on many levels. I do see that, yes. And by that point in time, you were aware of and familiar with a number of concerns that had been expressed by multiple people on the set of It Ends With Us. Is that correct? Shapiro, objection. Justin, no, we were very surprised by that language. Gottlieb, okay, you see the next sentence after that, as read. The complaints of our client and others have been repeatedly conveyed and well documented throughout pre-production and photography. Do you see that? I do see that. Is it your testimony that you were surprised by that language as well? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I was surprised by all of this, yes. Gottlieb, the next sentence says, as read, while we reserve all legal rights at this stage, our client is willing to forego a more formal HR process in favor of everyone returning to work and finishing the film as long as the set is safe moving forward. Do you see that? I do. You understood that the objective of this list was to allow the production of the film to continue as long as the set is safe moving forward. Yes. And then the next sentence says, as read, in order for our client to feel safe returning to the production, we are attaching a list of protections that will need to be guaranteed and observed by the film's producers. Do you see that? Yes. And you understood that reference to be a list, the reference to the list to be the 17 points that are on the attached page. After I read this, I learned that to be the case, yes. Okay, and you also understood, well, let me ask this way. Did you think at this point in time that legal action might be possible with respect to what Miss Lively was asserting here? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I had no idea what Miss Lively was asserting here. Gottlieb, did you read the 17 points? I did. Do you recall reading them promptly when you received this? I do. Do you recall reading them more than once? That I don't recall. But do you see references in the 17-point list to an intimacy coordinator being present at all times? Do you see reference in number 1? Yes. For an intimacy coordinator being present at all times? Yes. And you knew that Miss Lively had concerns about some of the intimate scenes in the movie, correct? Shapiro, objection. Justin, it's an easy yes. A lot of these things are just things that are no issues. Gottlieb, what do you mean by that? She wants an intimacy coordinator present at all times when she's on set. That's fine. It's a reasonable ask. Sure. That's not something that is fabricated. Shapiro, objection. Justin, what do you mean? Gottlieb, that's not a demand based on some fabricated event. Shapiro, objection. Justin, I don't know what that event is. There's no talking about an event here. It's just an ask for an intimacy coordinator present at all times. We already had an intimacy coordinator. So, Gottlieb, do you see a reference to number 3 as read? There is to be no spontaneous improvising of any scenes involving physical touching, simulated sex, or nudity? Yes. Was that also a reasonable ask? I have no idea what that was about, and that is a reasonable ask. Did you later come to learn about what that was about? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I later learned that Miss Lively had said there was improvising of a dance scene, but I had no understanding of that receiving this document. Gottlieb, later you understood because you sent a video out to the public about that dance scene, right? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I didn't personally send a video out. Gottlieb, you had it sent out? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I didn't have it sent out, but I agreed for it to go out, yes. Gottlieb, and that video of that scene involved improvisation of intimacy, is that correct? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I don't believe so. Gottlieb, is it your testimony that everything that occurred during the scene was written into the script? Shapiro, objection. Justin, no, it's my testimony that I wouldn't qualify that as intimacy. Gottlieb, nothing in the video of the dance scene from the bar is something you would describe as intimacy? I'm not a representative of SAG, nor am I an intimacy coordinator, but I don't believe the intimacy coordinator would describe the actions in that video as an intimate scene. Did it involve physical touching? Dancing, so yes, the two characters were already touching in that scene. Did it involve kissing? To my understanding, there was no kissing in that scene. But there was kissing in the video, correct? No. Did you attempt to kiss Miss Lively? No. In the filming of that scene? No. Okay, you see in number 6, it says, as read, no one will attempt to enter, interrupt, pressure, request to entrance to BL's trailer while she is in a state of undress for any reason. I see that, yes. You understood what that referred to, did you not? I made an assumption at that time, but again, very surprising considering everything after that conversation was fine. You mentioned before a discussion about Miss Lively getting COVID, right? Yes. You see a reference to number 9, Miss Lively being exposed to COVID? Yes. So that one is not made up either, right? Shapiro, objection. Justin, to my knowledge, Miss Lively had COVID-19. She said she did. Gottlieb, Do you see the paragraph 10 saying as read, there shall be no retaliation of any kind against BL for raising concerns about the conduct described in this letter, or for these requirements, any changes in attitude, sarcasm, marginalization, or other negative behavior, either on set or otherwise, including during publicity and promotional work as a result of these requests, is retaliatory and unacceptable and will be met with immediate action. Do you see that? I do. And you ultimately agreed to that, did you not? Shapiro, objection. Justin, I still do. Gottlieb, and Wayfarer Studio agreed to that as well, right? I believe Wayfarer Studios is who agreed to this, yes? Do you see the reference in paragraph 17 to the holding of a as read all hands in-person meeting before production resumes? Yes. Do you see that meeting was supposed to include as read the director, all producers, the Sony representative, the newly engaged third-party producer, BL and BL's designated representatives to confirm and approve a plan for the implementation of the above that will be adhered to for the physical and emotional safety of BL, her employees, and all the cast and crew moving forward? I do. Did that meeting occur? I believe that meeting did occur. When did the meeting occur? The evening before day one of production. I don't have the exact date offhand. January 4th, 2024. That sounds accurate. And where was the meeting held? Miss Lively and Mr. Reynolds' residence. And did all those people that you see listed there in paragraph 17 attend to the best of your knowledge? They did, but I don't believe anyone knew what that was the meeting. Okay, that they were attending. Gottlieb, Exhibit 32. Justin, I may, after like the next round, need to. Shapiro, do you want to take a break now to go to the bathroom? Gottlieb, if you want to take a break now for the restroom, we can. Justin, can we take a quick break? Shapiro, 10 minutes. Justin, I don't need that much time. Shapiro, 5 minutes. Gottlieb, it's hard to take a very short break just because people have to. Justin, okay. Gottlieb, let's go off the record, please. The videographer, we are going off the record. This time is 4:06 p.m. Recess. Videographer, we're back on the record. The time is 4:20 p.m. Okay, I'll see you in part 6.